Have you ever thought that your skills, things you're naturally good at, might actually have a deeper purpose? Maybe you're good with your hands. Maybe you're creative. Maybe you love designing, building, or solving problems. The Bible tells a powerful story about a man whose skills were not just useful, but divinely given. His name was Bezalel, and his story shows us that God doesn't only call prophets and priests, he also calls artists, builders, and creators. Let's step back in time and discover his story. The Israelites had just escaped slavery in Egypt after hundreds of years. God had rescued them through miracles and was now leading them through the wilderness toward freedom. During this journey, God gave Moses a special instruction. He said, "I want to dwell among my people," but not in just any place. God wanted a tabernacle, a sacred, beautifully designed tent where his presence would rest. It wouldn't be random or ordinary. Every detail mattered: the materials, the colors, the patterns, the craftsmanship. This wasn't just construction, it was worship. But here was the challenge: who could possibly build something holy, detailed, and beautiful enough for the presence of God? That's when God did something surprising. Instead of asking Moses or a priest to figure it out, God called a craftsman. The Bible says God spoke directly and said, "I have chosen Bezalel." Bezalel wasn't famous. He wasn't a leader of the people. He wasn't known for preaching or miracles. But God said something extraordinary about him. God said he had filled Bezalel with his spirit, with wisdom, understanding, knowledge, and skill in all kinds of craftsmanship. In other words, Bezalel's ability wasn't just talent, it was God-given. God trusted him to design and create the most sacred objects Israel would ever use: the Ark of the Covenant, the altar, the lampstand, priestly garments, and the entire structure of the tabernacle itself. Everything Bezalel made had to match God's instructions exactly. And Bezalel didn't work alone. God also appointed others to work with him, showing that calling often involves collaboration, not competition. Bezalel worked with gold, silver, bronze, wood, fabric, and precious stones. This wasn't rushed work. It required patience, focus, and excellence. Every stitch mattered, every measurement mattered, every design choice mattered. Why? Because God values excellence, not shortcuts. Bezalel's hands were doing physical work, but his heart was doing spiritual work. He showed that worship isn't only about singing or praying. It's also about doing your work well, with God in mind. His creativity became an act of obedience and worship. So why does Bezalel's story matter today? Because it reminds us of something powerful. God cares about how you are gifted. Your skills are not accidental. Your creativity is not random. Your abilities are not insignificant. Whether you design, build, teach, cook, organize, write, or create, God can use those skills for something greater than you imagine. Bezalel teaches us that God fills people with skill on purpose. Excellence honors God. Creativity can be sacred, and everyday work can become worship. You don't have to stand on a stage or hold a microphone to be called by God. Sometimes the calling looks like faithful work behind the scenes. The story of Bezalel invites us to ask a simple question: what has God placed in my hands? And how can I use it with care, excellence, and purpose? Because when God fills someone with skill, it's never just for them. It's for His glory and for the good of others.